Welcome to this episode of Bounded in a Nutshell. Remember to take a moment to click on the link below to donate to a very special organization. Figure Skating in Harlem is the first organization in the world to combine the power of education with the grace and discipline of figure skating. It is dedicated to developing confidence, leadership, and academic achievement in young girls from low-income backgrounds. The numerous stories of success from its alumni owe a great deal to the unique blend of mentoring and self-expression that is championed by FSH. Remember, no donation is too small or too large to keep the dream alive for these exceptional young girls. Thank you very much. Enjoy the show.
Hello. All right, so I thought, even though we're sitting around here and not able to roll around on the floor, which, as you know, I really like to do before doing sonnets, I thought we should do a little bit of a warm-up. Main thing is to relax. Some of you may be a little nervous, but just as you sit there in your chair, put your hands on your stomach, on your tummy, on your belly, and feed in the impulse for a deep sigh of relief. No sound, just a sigh. And let it go. Don't let it go slowly. Let it just tumble out of you. So there's no restriction. It's just as if you've got a bucket of water, you turn it upside down. And it's in and out through your mouth, Chuck, and not through your nose. All right, now I'm not going to teach. I'm just going to do a warm-up. All right, now just let that feed into a sigh that comes out on sound, so your belly is full of vibrations. Ha, big sigh. Ha. And then, with your hands, shake that sigh from your belly. So you shake your loose belly as the sigh comes out of you. Ha. All right, now, yes. And now stretch and yawn as if you're getting up in the morning, and yawn with sound. Ah. Just whatever sounds can come out of you. Ah. Good, Chuck. Roll your neck round. Everybody, roll your necks round, loosen it up. If your neck gets tight, your breathing gets tight. And as you roll your neck round, hum. And round the other way. And a relaxed belly for the sigh to come out. And then bounce your shoulders, bounce your shoulders. Ha. Really let that sound come out of you. Now, would you just do a good old Tarzan thump of your chest as the sound comes out? Ha. Massage your jaw a little bit. Massage your face. And shake your jaw loose. Sigh the sound out past your shaking jaw. Ha! Good, and now another yawn and a sigh. And as you do that, would you stretch your throat open in na? Open your throat wider, yawning wide. Na. All right. Would you just do one very easy? And then can you go? And then a little excited pant as if you were the dog going on to go out for a walk. Yes, it's all excitement. Ha. All right, good. That's all I'm going to do with you right now. And we'll just, first of all, hear those sonnets one after the other. Give a nice moment between each sonnet. So one of you will speak, who I think Bryn is first. And we'll all listen to that. And then just let that settle. And then the next person and the next person, so that you don't have to worry about whether you're doing it right. Okay, let's have some sonnets.
Right.
Who's first?
Me.
Go. All right, hi, Bryn.
Hi. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved.
Okay, great. We've got a dog in the background.
I do. She's new to our house, so.
Okay. Who's next?
Me. Hi, Kristin.
Who's this? Where are you?
Me.
Oh, Peter.
When in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast state, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate, wishing me like to one more rich in hope, featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's scope, with what I most enjoy, contented least. Yet in these thoughts, myself almost despising, haply I think on thee, and then my state, like to the lark at break of day, arising from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. Who's next?
Sweet love, renew thy force. Be it not said thy edge should blunter be than appetite, which but today by feeding is allayed, tomorrow sharpened in his former might. So love be thou, although today thou kill thy hungry eyes even till they wink with fullness, tomorrow see again, and do not kill the spirit of love with a perpetual dullness. Let this sad interim like the ocean be, which parts the shore where two contracted new come newly to the banks, where when they see return of love, more blessed may be the view. Else call it winter, which being full of care, makes summer's welcome thrice more wished, more rare.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. Your name again?
Emily.
Oh, Emily. Hi.
Hi. As an imperfect actor on the stage, who with his fear is put beside his part, or some fierce thing replete with too much rage, whose strength's abundance weakens his own heart, so I, for fear of trust, forget to say the perfect ceremony of love's rite, and in mine own love's strength seem to decay, or charged with burthen of mine own love's might. Oh, let my looks be then the eloquence, and dumb presagers of my speaking breast, who plead for love and look for recompense, more than that tongue that more hath more expressed. Oh, learn to read what silent love hath writ. To hear with eyes belongs to love's fine wit.
Thank you very much. No longer mourn for me when I am dead. Then you shall hear the surely sullen bell give warning to the world that I am fled from this vile world with vilest worms to dwell. Nay, if you read this line, remember not the hand that writ it, for I love you so that I in your sweet thoughts would be forgot, if thinking on me then should make you woe. If, I say, you look upon this verse, and I perhaps compounded am with clay, do not so much as my poor name rehearse, but let your love ere with my life decay, lest, wise world, lest this wise world should look into your moan and mock you with me after I am gone. Okay, thank you.
Hi.
And we have, you are?
I'm Dominic.
Oh, Dominic, okay.
They that have power to hurt and will do none, that do not do the thing they most do show, who, moving others, are themselves as stone, unmoved, cold, and to temptation slow, they rightly do inherit heaven's graces and husband nature's riches from expense. They are the lords and owners of their faces, others but stewards of their excellence. The summer's flower is to the summer sweet, though to itself it only live and die. But if that flower with base infection meet, the basest weed outbraves his dignity. For sweetest things turn sourest by their deeds. Lilies that fester smell far worse than weeds.
Okay, well done, everybody. That's good. You know, you all know how to make sense of the text, which is great. So, can we switch back to Bryn so I'll just start working through and keep an eye on the time. Bryn, are you there?
I'm here.
There you are. Okay. Now, what I'm going to be doing with everybody is saying, so this is a bit of a sort of general introduction, is that these sonnets are all based in love. Love of one sort or another, and the many facets and experiences of love. And that is a word that we find rather difficult to say these days. So you might all, except for Bryn, you can have your mic on, but if everybody else with their mics off would just say the word love as deeply in their bodies as they possibly can. Would you all, as if the word love fills your belly, love, and say
Love.
Now, could it give you a little more pleasure?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, let it warm your belly. Love.
Love.
Yes, yeah, you know. Bryn got married relatively recently, yes? So
Yes, to Peter, who's in here too.
love, yeah. So the plugging in, and I'm going to be talking to each one of you about plugging in much more deeply to the emotional content, because in the 14 lines of a sonnet is packed an emotional charge that grew out of something that happened in the poet's life. There was an incident, there was a moment, and it was always to do with love. So we're going to be looking at that first of all. And all right, so let's just start away with a little bit more of that thing of, and you've got the word marriage in your first line. Right? A wonderful word that just feel the of marriage.
Marriage.
Yes, it's, you know, and you can feel that going down your body if you allow yourself to. And then all the way through the first line, marriage, me, minds, right? There's a lot of rich, humming, reverberative sound. So sink into that a bit and just let the first line go through you again. And we'll go over it again and again. You're not going to get it at once. So off you go.
All right.
Big sigh, with joy, with love, with pleasure.
Let me not to the marriage.
Now, by the way, you will notice, all of you, I tend to stop you after 2 words. The second word is me. Now, you have an option, and I'd like you to, you don't have to do this in perpetuity, but I'd like you to see what it's like to let that me be on the strong beat of the line. Di-dum, 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 di-dum.
Right.
So this is a very personal, it'll make it that much more personal. Other people might have impediments to marriage, but not me.
Right.
Let me not really sink into the weight of that certainty of love. Let the breath go in.
Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments.
Right, now look what he does there. He has these single words, these rather clear Anglo-Saxon words, except for marriage, which has got some French influence in there, true minds, and then suddenly admit impediments. All those little syllables and this polysyllabic impediments. Just say impediments a couple of times.
Impediments.
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 It's probably one of those words that was new in the language. Admit impediments. Just feel it in your mouth.
Admit impediments.
Now, you're going to go straight. We're going to go back to the beginning. You'll feel the kind of bumpiness of admit impediments, and without taking a breath, you then will go straight down to love.
Okay.
Because in the middle of the line, it changes completely. All right, plug in deep down into your belly with joy and the certainty of love. Go.
Let me not to the marriage of true minds.
Let me, come on, personal. Go.
Let me not to the marriage
but
of
you're
true.
arguing it. You have to feel it. And this I'll be saying to all of you, you know, don't argue the point. Feel it. The argument comes out of the depth of the feeling, not out of, you know, the busyness of your mind. Go. Open your belly to love.
Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love.
We're still arguing it. Love is not love. Love. Come on, go down to love.
Love.
Yes, and continue.
Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds.
Don't argue it. Know it. Be certain. Once more, love is not love.
Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds.
Yes.
Or bends with a remover to remove.
Oh.
Oh no.
Now joy.
Oh no. It is an ever-fixed mark.
Mark. Yes. Yes.
It is an ever-fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken.
Okay, now this is a beautiful poem about love and the eternity of love and the certainty of love. However, who are these alterations and who are these removers? Oh no, it is an ever-fixed mark. Why do you need an ever-fixed mark? And what are these tempests? Are there sometimes problems that you have to work through in
Yes.
within this certainty?
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't come into too much of a personal story. We're dealing with something very, very what's the word, global? I mean, total here. I now want to ask you, when you say, oh no, it is never fixed mark, looks on tempests, so what might those be in this marriage of true minds? What might the tempests be?
It can be a lot of things. Problems, like
conceivably your loved one looking elsewhere.
Yeah,
maybe.
I was going to say affairs or
yes, could actually be. All right, it is a never fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star. So now let's get this image really accurate. What are you seeing when you say it is a star to every wandering bark whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken? What are you picturing?
I mean, I'm literally picturing like the North Star. I don't know, like a very, very bright star that's easy to see. A star to every wandering bark whose worth's unknown.
What's the wandering bark?
I mean, I guess in a metaphorical sense, the wandering eye.
No, it's not. I'd like to suggest there is no metaphor in it. It's a direct image. It is a ship.
Right.
So the navigational star is the North Star that the ship guides itself by. Now, here's the tricky image, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. These ships, these sailing ships in those days, were carrying cargo, and you could tell how rich the cargoes were by the depth of the keel. So the bigger the ship, the deeper the keel, and if it's got a deep keel, a deep cargo in it, it needs a very tall mast. So you could say, if you were a pirate, for instance, you could see there's a ship worth going after, look at the tall mast. Now, if that's a person, however tall, dark, and handsome that person is, you can never quite be sure what's going on inside in the heart. So it's a very big image. Mm-hmm. It's a huge image. Can you go from, oh no, it is an ever fixed, right? It's huge, that image. Now don't try and say it huge, but see if you can really image it. Image the North Star, image that ship. Let the breath go in, go.
Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that, sorry, that's what I thought, okay. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken.
Yes, now it's beginning to mean something slightly more. Keep going. Love. We come to that word again. Open up for it. It's the third quatrain. It deepens. Each quatrain deepens the feeling. More. Go deeper.
Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips.
What are you imaging? What are you imaging for time?
Like an old man, really like Father Time.
Well, that's too charming. He's a great, huge, gaunt, skeletal chap with a huge scythe going round the world, chopping you off at the knees. It's a huge image.
That's better.
Right, yeah, go for that, go. Love's not, huge breath.
Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come.
Yeah, now you're starting to argue it again instead of really give yourself over to the feeling. So you've got to see time's fool, you've got that huge image, and then you've got tiny, personal, beautiful images, though, and the rhythm change, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come, and the rhythm changes in the middle of the line with the image of the scythe. Go back to love's not time's fool. Go for fool also.
Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come.
Big breath, go.
Love alters not with his
Now
brief.
you have to be sure about that. I don't believe you.
I don't believe me either.
You better plug into it because it's true.
Yeah.
Love. This is love that makes the world go round.
Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks.
Now,
But-
huge. Go.
But bears it out even to the edge of doom.
Now, we've got the rhymed couplet coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And what does he say?
If this be error and upon me proved.
Okay, now we're going to have a thing called the caesura. Halfway through that line, it shifts completely. Oh, and do you think he thinks he's made a mistake? No. If this be error, and then and upon me proved means, do you want to take out your sword and fight a duel to the death? To change in the middle. Have fun with this. If this be error, by the way.
If this be error and upon me proved.
And there's another little tiny thing. The and is on a strong beat, which is actually very useful. If this be error and upon me proved, you're allowed to take that time to say that. Go.
If this be error and upon me proved,
No.
I never writ.
Did he ever write? Yes, he certainly did.
He did.
Good. I never writ, little tiny word.
I never writ, nor no man ever loved.
And I bet some men have loved. Go back to the beginning and dig in, and one more time all the way through. Go.
Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with a remover to remove. Oh, no. It is an ever-fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved.
Okay. Okay, good.
Thanks,
Right.
Kristin.
Was that at all pleasurable to go through that?
It was lovely.
Everybody should know that wonderful sonnet.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, who have we got? We got Peter now.
Yes. Hello, Kristin.
Hi, Peter. And you're doing one of the master sonnets.
When in disgrace, with fortune and men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast state.
Okay, now I just want to say a couple of general things. This is for everyone. See if you can get the thought going through the line. There may be a change of thought in the middle of a line, not that there is here, but you don't stop for the change of thought in the middle of the line. It doesn't help clarify the thought to stop and think in the middle of the line. You need to be thinking on the line throughout, from beginning to end. And there are various things to be alert to. And I want to just say this in general, that the first 4 lines set out subject matter. The next 4 lines deepen the feeling of that subject matter. And then there is nearly always a major emotional shift, deeper still, between the first 8 lines and the next 6 lines. And then the rhymed couplet at the end wraps the whole thing up. It is an emotional journey going through the sonnets. They are compacted emotion. If you were to write it all out in prose, it would take pages. No poet writes a sonnet in any poem just out of interest. They write it out of a deep feeling. It is it's a heightened or a deepened emotional situation that gives rise to the need for poetry. So here we have a description of what's happening sometimes to you. He starts a lot of the sonnets with when. When doesn't mean always. When, there are times when, but there are clues in the actual sounds in the words. In this sonnet, in the first line ends in the word eyes, men's eyes. Now, if you really say, just say the word eyes and feel what happens in your mouth.
Eyes.
But let your eyes be wider. Eyes. Let your mouth be wider.
Eyes.
Yes, your throat open and your breath comes out. Eyes.
Eyes.
Now, it is not by chance that he begins the second line with the same sound.
I, all alone.
The throat is already open.
Hmm.
I. So don't run over that. This is a very I poem. It's a me poem. Oh, there we are. Start away again. See if you can let this, if you can feel it through your mouth and through your body, starting with this thing of when, with an idea in your mind of, there are times when.
When in disgrace.
How about a breath going in before you start? You start with a thought going into you, and then the thought comes out in the word.
When in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes.
Okay, now we're going to break this down a little bit. This is for all of you. This is, as I say, this is a master sonnet because it's got all sorts of information in it. In disgrace. You can all do this at home with your mics off. Whisper the word grace and see where it is in your body. Grace. See where does it? Just feel it in your body. The meaning and the feeling of the word grace. Grace. Now whisper the word disgrace. Disgrace. Is there any difference in where they land in your body?
Yeah,
it's breath.
Yeah, it's sort of.
Don't look for it up in your head. It's not this part of your brain. It's your body brain. Grace. Grace is, that's up towards heaven, isn't it? Don't look up. Let your breath go up. Grace.
Grace.
Ah, now the other one.
Disgrace.
Did they land differently then?
Yes, lower.
Disgrace was lower in your body, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're talking about the body brain. The Elizabethans were not as up in the frontal lobes as we are. Their language was embodied. It was uncontaminated. Well, I'm not going to go into all of that, but we need to get the words into the body in order to get closer to how the Elizabethans might have understood and how Shakespeare might have been thinking and feeling. We've got the when, then we've got disgrace. So you let that drop right down into your belly, in that, place where you're feeling shitty about things. And then it's fortune. What do you mean by that? You woke up in the morning, you looked at your horoscope and it said, don't go out today. Not only fortune, but if you did go out, you'd know that everybody would be going, oh, look, there's Peter. Right. So many different things in that one first line. Now, without breaking it, let's start away again. And then you go for eyes, and then breath comes in and you go I, and see how that feels in your body.
When in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes.
Yeah, no, that was better, much more in your body. You don't have to play the grammar. You don't have, your voice is a little bit colored with when I do with fortune and, the grammar of it. Trust the individual images within the lines. The grammar will look after itself. The sense will come through. But it needs that, yes, that attention that you just paid this time. One more time, go.
When in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, I all alone.
You're allowed to go, I. Go, just do that.
I.
And then go all alone.
All alone.
Yes.
Beweep my outcast state.
Good. Now, this is this wonderful line. Everybody, all actors should practice this one, because within this line, the vowels take you all over the place and take you into all the emotional states that are being conjured up here. So there's I'm all alone, I'm so miserable. I cry, beweep. So all alone, those vowels take you down. Beweep take you up. You got it a little bit. Beweep. But then there's you're really pissed off about it. Outcast state. Just say outcast state. Spit out those consonants.
Outcast state.
Yes. Now, without a breath, go from the I, the openness of the I, and then all alone, and then outcast. Go.
I, all alone, beweep my outcast state.
Yes. Keep going.
And trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries.
Yes, another I, go.
And look upon myself and curse my fate, wishing me like to one more.
I'm afraid the video and the audio are not coalescing. I don't know what that word is. But that, yes. So then you've got deaf heaven. So that's all images, isn't it? There's God with his hands over his ears. Right? And deaf heaven with my bootless cries, useless rain, and look upon myself and curse my fate. Go to the next quatrain. Curse my fate after that.
Wishing me like to one more.
So there's a change, much more of a change. In that you've got the first quatrain. When I am in this thing, this is what I do. And I'm sure everybody knows that experience of of looking in the mirror and thinking, oh, I'm so sad, nobody loves me, and God doesn't love me, right? And then what else do you do? Then you've got this change of rhythm, wishing me. Second quatrain, go.
Wishing like to one more rich in hope.
Now don't make a list. These are different people. Go again, wishing.
Wishing me like to one more rich in hope. Featured like him with,
They're all different people, all different people. All different people, it's more fun.
Wishing me like to one more rich in hope.
Get the feeling of wishing in your breath. Trust your breath for it, trust the breath.
Wishing me like to one more rich in hope. Featured like him with friends possessed.
Too much time. You don't stop in the middle of the line. Featured like him with friends possessed. Somebody's so handsome, the other one's got all these buddies, right? Right?
Featured like him with friends possessed.
With friends possessed. These are all different things. It's not one person. They're all different people. I wish I was like this one, like that one, like the other one.
Featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man.
All right, now, this is for everybody. Would you all again whisper, wishing, and see where it is in your body?
Wishing.
And then whisper, desiring. Does that go in a different place in your body?
Yes.
But your voice stayed in the same place when you said it. Let your voice follow your feeling, where that feeling goes. So we do need to go wishing me like to want, just from there, and then go into desiring. It deepens. Right.
Wishing me like to one more rich in hope. Featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's scope. With what I most enjoy, contented.
Don't push it, feel it. Don't push it, feel it. With what I, drop it into your belly, go.
With what I most enjoy, contented least. Yet, in these thoughts.
Yet is one of these little big words. It opens the door to something, some other possibility. Yet. Let it open the door a little bit more. Third quatrain.
Yet in these thoughts, myself almost despising.
The thing is, you don't absolutely despise yourself. There's a little bit of self-knowledge here. There's a little bit of irony here. Look at me, look what I do all the time. Yet
in these thoughts, myself almost despising, haply I think on thee. And
yes, now I'm going to say this for everybody, I'm sure you know it. Haply meaning by chance. Absolutely by chance. So let the word be a little bit more haply, a little more waking up. Oh my God.
Haply I think on thee.
On who?
On thee.
Yes, go.
On thee. And then my state, like to the lark at break of day.
Now, this is for everybody. You probably remember me saying this before, some of you. The British lark is a very small bird with vertical takeoff, and it signals spring and it signals joy. The American lark is about the size of a pigeon. If you imagine the American lark, you will not get the feeling that Shakespeare was after here. But if you can picture this vertical takeoff of this tiny, joyful, ecstatic bird and feel it coming off the front of your tongue, like he gives you this alliteration and the assonance, or the change of vowel in the middle. like to the lark, like to the lark. You'd probably have to practice it quite a bit, walking down the street, like to the lark, like to the lark. And you have to see it just flying up to heaven as you say it, right? And then you go from, yet in these thoughts. Oh.
Yet in these thoughts, myself.
Yet, let it change already,
Yet in these thoughts, myself almost despising, haply I think on thee, and then my state.
It should be a little more glorious. Who's going to be to think of thee, right? Yeah. Haply.
Haply I think on thee, and then my state, like to the lark at break of day arising from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate.
What? What's the feeling? Come on, it's huge. Sings what?
Sings hymns at heaven's gate.
Yeah, go for it. It's almost like singing an anthem. Go on, just go overdo it. Sings
hymns at heaven's gate.
It needs that, yes.
For thy sweet love.
Love in your belly.
For thy sweet love remembered, such wealth brings.
Go for it.
That then I scorn to change my state with kings.
With who?
With kings.
Okay, this is where people think I'm completely mad. When I'm in my big room and I'm leaping up and down with excitement with all these images. I'm sorry, it really doesn't translate to a little Zoom screen, I don't think. What can I say? The whole thing. Now, it's that ecstasy at the end. It's the thing we say about larks, an exaltation of larks. So now the self-observation here. There's an irony about yourself. You know, you're not sort of, oh, you're saying, sometimes I'm a real old grump.
It's true.
Oh, isn't it? It's very human, all this. We all feel like it. Yeah.
When in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast state, and look upon myself
Trouble deaf heaven.
And trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate, wishing me like to one more rich in hope, featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's scope, with what I most enjoy, contented least. Yet in these thoughts, myself almost despising, haply I think on thee, and then my state, like to the lark at break of day, arising from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love remembered, such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings.
Peter, I think, did you begin to feel that?
Yes.
Thing? These sonnets they can come alive on so many different levels. You can speak these sonnets intellectually and poetically in all sorts of ways, but I think that they are just deeply plugged in to emotional experience.
What's gorgeous about it is that the amount of imagination that needs to be constantly going on in your head, a personalization of just about everything. You know what I mean?
That's why these particular sonnets are such good exercise, because they exercise the emotional imagination. Yeah. And, when you imagine something specifically and clearly and truly in your head, it's the same as seeing it for real. So if you really see the lark, it's as if your brain registers it in the same way imaginatively as seeing it for real. The neurons light up.
Yes,
So
and it's funny because suddenly that self-consciousness that plagues us as actors when we think we're overdoing it, there's no room for it because you're with that image. You're with that image of the lark, and you go up with the lark if it's visual. And the self-consciousness of, oh my God, am I overdoing it or being too? It just doesn't. There's no room for it in the process at that point, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's why we love doing Shakespeare, because he doesn't button things up, and we are brought up these days to be buttoned up, and he says unbutton.
Yeah.
And let's have real life coming out here.
Gorgeous. Thank you. Alana, you're up.
All righty.
Hi, Alana.
Hello. This is so fun.
Are you getting some ideas out of?
Yes.
All right. Is your breath going down into your belly?
Love. Yes.
Good. And love and so on. All right. Oh my goodness. Yes, you've got an interesting one.
Sweet love, renew thy force. Be it not said thy edge should blunter be than appetite, which but today by feeding is allayed, tomorrow sharpened in his former might.
Good. All right. So what's the story? What just happened to make you write this poem?
I think that like the lover isn't there, like they're seeing other people, so it's like the love is in and out.
So you're talking about your lover.
Yes, but I kind of personally made it about my own love, so maybe that is a mistake.
Well, you've got to be able to make use of your own love,
Right.
and then transform him or her into the story. So
Right.
This is you are speaking.
Right.
So this is your story.
Yes.
So I'm going to say it to you absolutely personally. So what just happened that makes you say this in your story, your love story?
My love isn't there fully. It's sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. And I'm upset that it can't be fully 100% there all the time.
Well, that's a bit, yeah, I mean, that's probably okay, but I'm going to push you to something more visceral, I think. I'm going to suggest, so, if we had a lot of time, I would lead you to it and draw it out of you, but I'm going to tell you instead.
Okay.
Sweet love, you're saying. Now, I know this, I'm not making this up. Renew thy force, be it not said, thy edge should greater be than appetite. What does edge mean in this case?
Like
it's the penis.
Oh, okay. No, okay.
Erectus.
Okay.
Now, appetite is your appetite in this case.
Right.
So you've got all this appetite and you ain't getting it. You ain't getting what you need.
All right.
So so this is love in its active manifestation.
Okay.
Let's just suggest, well, I'm not going to suggest anything. Just see if you can start away with something of that.
Okay.
In your body.
Okay.
In your body's imagination.
Sweet love, renew thy force. Be it not said thy edge should blunter be than appetite, which but today by feeding.
Yeah. Right, okay, so you begin to get it, don't you? Right? So blunter, don't run over this word blunter. It's a word that is blunter than my appetite. I have this sharp appetite.
Yeah.
Right? So don't rush over the words.
Okay.
Let this image that you're now playing with really feed into the words. Start
Okay.
Sweet. No. So you're not going to get him or her, whoever it is, to do this if you say no, no, no. You have to say, come on.
Okay. Sweet love, renew thy force. Be it not said thy edge should blunter be than appetite, which but today by feeding is allayed, tomorrow sharpened in his former might.
Right. So you were making love all night long, and you woke up in the morning and you said, let's do it again. And God, you can't? So next quatrain.
So love be thou.
So, now don't run over the word love ever.
Okay, okay. So love be thou. Although today thou fill thy hungry eyes even till they wink with fullness.
Now, the Elizabethans, there were so many, not always used, but there were so many double meanings, and an awful lot of them were to do with sex. And eyes or apertures. Love came in at the eyes as well as everybody. So although it's a sort of spiritual love, when you think of the love coming in the eyes, it's also lustful. The lust that comes in through eyes. There are all these, orifices, all of which can receive and deliver love. So second quatrain, so love.
So love.
Yeah, in your drop it down a little bit deeper inside your body.
So love be thou. Although today thou fill thy hungry eyes even till they wink with fullness. Tomorrow see again.
Yes.
And do not kill the spirit of love with a perpetual dullness.
Yes. Good. Okay, you're beginning to see this, aren't you? In a much more fleshy way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's in the body more, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's actual stuff going on. What was I going to say? The spirit of love. Again, there you've got a potential, not always, but a potential double meaning. We haven't got that, nobody's working on, which I'm quite glad about, the expense of spirit in a waste of shame. But spirit, a lot of the words that are to do now more with spiritual matters were equally to do with sexual energies. And spirit, oh dear, I don't have to say these things, but spirit is, how can we say this in a nice polysyllabic Latin way? Emissions? But you all know what I mean. So spirit, it's got both the spiritual and the sexual, actual stuff.
Yes, that makes sense. Okay, I know what you're trying to say.
I would be a little blunter were we in the same room together.
Okay, so where do you want to go from?
Where are you? You're on your third quatrain?
Yeah, spirit of love, we want to do that again, or we'll just do it again at the end?
Yeah, you do what you need to do.
Okay, I'll just go, okay. And do not kill the spirit of love with a perpetual dullness. Let this sad interim like the ocean be, which parts the shores where two contracted new come daily to the banks.
Right, now the image, suddenly we've got this huge imagery that goes out to nature.
Mm-hmm.
It's been pretty well personal up till now. So this really goes deeper, deeper, deeper. And I think there's still all sorts of sexual suggestions in the imagery here. But it's full of the longing, the waves, the power of love and lust. So let's just plunge into the ocean of the third quatrain again. Let this sad go.
Let this sad interim like the ocean be.
So let the word ocean, you tend to squeeze ocean. Oh, it's a wonderful word, is it? Oh, let it drop deeper in your body.
Let this sad interim like the ocean be, which parts the shore where two contracted new come daily to the banks.
Don't rush, don't rush, don't rush.
Okay.
Line by line by line.
Okay.
One more time.
Let this sad interim like the ocean be, which parts the shore where two contracted new come daily to the banks, that when they see renew of love, more blessed may be the view.
Yes.
Or else call it winter.
Now, there's a real change. So it's as though you are searching for this way to waken your love up, and this way, and another way, and another way. And then by the end, or if none of that works, it's more of a change, I think, right at the very, you can allow the imagery changes so graphically at the very end, or call it
winter. Yeah. Else call it winter, which being full of care, makes summer's welcome thrice more wished, more rare.
Yes. I'm sorry, I keep doing that.
No, I like it.
Yeah.
Make it happy again. Big.
Yeah. So the winter goes down in that first line, and then summer, wow! We're going to have such a fantastic lovemaking.
Okay.
Do you want to do the whole thing one more time?
I would love to, yes.
Now, but trust your feeling, trust the story, trust the imagery, and let it take you. Don't feel you have to make it happen. Let it go on you.
Okay.
Relax your belly, let the breath and the feeling do it.
Sweet love, renew thy force. Be it not said thy edge should blunter be than appetite, which but today by feeding is allayed, tomorrow sharpened in his former might. So love be thou, although today thou fill thy hungry eyes even till they wink with fullness, tomorrow see again, and do not kill the spirit of love with a perpetual dullness. Let this sad interim like the ocean be, which parts the shore where two contracted new come daily to the banks, that when they see return of love, more blessed may be the view. Else call it winter, which being full of care, makes summer more welcomed, thrice as welcomed, more wished, more rare.
We'll do the final couplet one more time.
Okay. Else call it winter, which being full of care, makes summer's welcome thrice more wished, more rare.
All right, okay, good. Well done. That change in the rhymed couplet is lovely. If you can really launch yourself into the, because that's what we do all the time, and we change our feelings. Our feelings can shift within a breath. And there are so many shifts within this, and particularly, and then even in the last couplet, between one line and the next, there's a shift in feeling. So well done.
So much. That was so amazing. I feel like alive and like, oh, it's so cool.
Oh, so cool.
I
Good.
really appreciate it.
Good. Yeah. Well done. It's that thing of dropping it into it is real life experience. It's real.
Thank you.
Lovely. All right. That was stunning. Next, Emily.
All right. What are you getting as we move on? How are you listening and then thinking, what's that got to do with my sonnet? And
well, I'm listening and then I'm jumping back into my own head and I'm like, no, just focus on the words that are being said with this one, and hopefully it'll all trickle down when I'm here. We'll see.
Yes. Yeah. The main thing that I'm emphasizing with everybody is let the words drop into your body. Don't try and manage the argument. The writer has already managed the argument. It's all there in that form. You're the one who has to somehow launch yourself, jump off the cliff into whatever the feeling is that that seems to be at the source of the making of the sonnet. And you get to that through the images, trusting the images in as they meet your emotional life. So do all that, hey?
Yeah, got it.
All right. Good. All right. There's something, I wonder if I can switch off. There's this thing that says chat.
I know the chat
I'd love
is blinking.
Yeah, but anyway, I would love not to have it jumping up at me.
I'm not sure how to do that. Michelle, is there a way of getting rid of the chat for individually?
That box at the bottom. It's just a little distraction, that's all.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. All right, Emily, let's get you down stage center. You're up at the top.
I'll start talking and then I think it should pop.
There you are. Okay. Good.
Okay.
Give yourself a moment.
As an unperfect actor on the stage, who with his fear is put beside his part, or some fierce thing replete with too much rage, whose strength's abundance weakens his own heart. So I, for fear of trust, forget to say the perfect ceremony of love's rite, and in mine own love's strength seem to decay, or charged with burthen of mine own love's might. Oh,
Okay.
let my looks be then the eloquence.
I'm going to stop you.
Yes.
Stop. I'm going to ask you just when you get to it, but we've got a little bit of work to do before you get to it. There are different editions which give you the option of looks or books. I think you're going to find much more interest and content if you say books rather than looks. And when we get to it, I think you'll see what that does for you. It's just a little change. You can accommodate.
Yeah.
Now, however, what you're doing a bit is you're coloring these first two quatrains with a kind of angst, with a kind of, oh dear. See if you can clear that away and just go for the thing.
Sure.
So we all know what it's like, that horror of being in front of an audience and forgetting your lines. There's an abyss that opens up, isn't there? Your dissociation, your completely out of body experience. So that's all you need do is conjure up some sort of memory of that. Don't comment on it, right? So start away again.
As an unperfect actor on the stage, who with his fear is put beside his part.
Okay, you could calm down this upper part. It's a little bit of sort of explanation happening up here. Think about let your energy go more to maybe an imagined, maybe it's never happened to you, but what it would be like. But the memory of that moment. As an so let that be where your energy goes rather than in explaining it.
Okay. as an unperfect actor on the stage, who with his fear is put beside his part, or some fierce thing replete with too much rage, whose strength's abundance weakens his own heart.
All right, so what are you imaging? What are you seeing for the fierce thing replete with too much rage?
So I'm struggling with the idea of like, because you're saying like, don't explain it so much with your face. And I was trying to kind of have the idea of it being like, it's a wild animal that is out of control, that even though it's completely strong, it's going to destroy everything and everyone around it.
And you need to be a bit more specific, or some fierce thing, so a lion or tiger,
Okay.
sees its the deer running away,
Mm-hmm.
right? Leaping after it, suddenly has a heart attack.
And
Replete, it's so full of the excitement of the chase that
Mhm.
falls down dead before he can get his dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Very more specific than destroying everything all over the place. So the point about that is that, yes, the act of forgetting his or her lines is a terrible feeling, but the lion or the tiger falling down dead before he gets his dinner, that is deepening. So the second image deepens the experience inside.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to, let's go for that again and just really plug into the breath and the image. And if you overdo it, that's fine. Overdo it rather than underdo it.
As an unperfect actor on the stage, who with his fear is put beside his part, or some fierce thing replete with too much rage, whose strength's abundance weakens his own heart. So I, for fear of trust.
Now, okay, well, that's your first quatrain.
Mm-hmm.
That's your first quatrain,
Mm-hmm.
right? Active. Now, the beginning of your second quatrain. So I. It's an antithesis of some strange sort.
Okay.
I, in antithesis to the actor who has forgotten his line, or the dead lion, right? So I. So it's much more. Just go for so, yeah, drop it into your belly. Go.
So I, for fear of trust, forget to say the perfect ceremony of love's rite.
Okay, now I have to ask you, what is the perfect ceremony of love's rite?
To me, it's the saying I love you, because that's the thing I can't say.
No, that's not, to you is not enough. I'm sorry, Emily, but it's not enough to say, for me it is.
I just mean in my understanding of it, so I
Yes,
misunderstand it.
I'm sorry, I'm pushing you slightly here. I'm just pushing you, you know, you've got to, you know. We're at a distance, but I'm pushing you. So I, for favor, forget to say, now the perfect ceremony, love's rite, that is not just words.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think it might be?
So it's actually like getting married.
And then what happens once one is married?
And then you consummate the relationship.
Oh, you consummate the relationship, absolutely. With any luck.
So that's.
But let's not. I think if you see, you've got such huge images at the beginning, this fierce thing that it's not enough that it's just say I love you. Okay, it is the act of love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The perfect ceremony of love's rite. And then, and of course, I'm afraid this is more, let's say, probably a man's sonnet.
Right. Decay.
Because, exactly. But we all can empathize.
Yeah.
And we all feel that, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you might, you know, this is women too. I don't know. I can't remember. It was all too long ago, all that kind of stuff. So could you just let that go that much deeper into the event?
So I, for fear of trust, forget to say the perfect ceremony of love's rite, and in mine own love's strength seem to decay, or charged with burthen of mine own love's might.
There you go. Isn't it graphic? I mean, it's beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
and it's graphic.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's say that's what happened yesterday night. Now, third quatrain. Oh, let that oh really come out of what you just said.
Oh, let my books be then the eloquence, and
Eloquent. Don't throw away the word eloquence. Right?
Eloquence, because that's all I have at this point.
Yes, and the books and the writing and the poems. Mm-hmm. But all I have is enormous.
Yeah.
Let my books, you're proud of them.
Oh, let my books be then the eloquence, and dumb presagers of my speaking breast, who plead for love and look for recompense.
Good. I think you just almost got that. Who plead for love, yes, out of my poems, but I do want something back. Right?
Yes.
Right?
And look
it's
for
a two-way.
Yeah. We have to
let
tango.
Let my books again. That's it. Let my books.
Oh, let my books be then the eloquence, and dumb presagers of my speaking breast, who plead for love and look for recompense, more than that tongue that more.
No, don't squeak. Don't push more up there. Let the more. The sound of it go deeper in your body. Drop it. See if you can drop right deep into your body for that line. More than that.
More than that tongue that more hath more expressed.
Right.
Oh.
Shakespeare never repeats a word because he can't think of any other words. Mm-hmm. So it's an accumulation. More than that love that more had more expressed. Mm-hmm. Right. More, just do the more, just feel it. It's almost, as an exercise. More than love.
More
that tongue.
More than that tongue that more hath more expressed. Oh, learn to read what silent love hath writ. To hear with eyes belongs to love's fine wit.
To love. Now, I think you're giving a message there to your loved one. We don't always have to we don't always have to make love in order to express love. Mm-hmm. We could go into the finer creative act of poetry, right? So there's a bit of a challenge, possibly. Mm-hmm. Try that rhymed couplet again. Don't push it. Feel it.
Oh. Learn to read what silent love hath, what silent love.
I think should come a bit more conscious. You're starting to move your head around and express, do a little bit too much up here. Learn to read silent love, not all this moaning and groaning, saying, I love you, I love you.
Oh, learn to read what silent love hath writ. To hear with eyes belongs to love's fine wit.
Fine wit, right? It's as if the love making with the body is a bit gross compared with the fine wit of spiritual love as expressed in poetry.
Let's take it up, take it up.
Yes. Let's have the whole song. Now, don't try and do everything we've said. Just let it drop into you, see the images, feel it, explore it, see the story.
As an unperfect actor on the stage, who with his fear is put beside his part, or some fierce thing replete with too much rage, whose strength's abundance weakens his own heart. So I, for fear of trust, forget to say the perfect ceremony of love's rite, and in mine own love's strength seem to decay, or charged with burthen of mine own love's might. Oh, let my books be then the eloquence and dumb presagers of my speaking breast, who plead for love and look for recompense, more than that tongue that more hath more expressed. Oh, learn to read what silent love hath writ. To hear with eyes belongs to love's fine wit.
Well done. Well done. How did that feel?
Much clearer, which is great, and calmer.
Yes. Yeah, and it's actually activating you internally more.
I just want to just codify for me as much as for everyone else is, you said something, the writer has already managed the argument. You said the writer has already managed the argument. So it's not up to us to like manage the argument. Right. It's up to us to, as it were, if I'm understanding you, to put ourselves into the argument and express and feel the argument. Is that what you're?
Yep.
You just
Yep. We have to walk. That's it. We have to walk the road step by step by step, and the argument will emerge. He's done that. That's his genius. Is the form has already made the grammar, the syntax, and the argument, and the interpretation. The interpretation has been done. We have to enter into the detail of the construction of it.
Fantastic, love that. Okay, Kanata, if I said that right.
Kanata.
Kanata.
Yes.
Hi, Kanata.
Hi.
Ah, okay. So you chose well, you didn't have much to choose from, but you like this one?
Yeah, I like this one.
Okay, have a go. Let's start. I'll stop you before you've gone about 4 lines.
Okay. No longer mourn for me when I am dead. Then you shall hear the surely sullen bells give warning to the world that I am fled from this vile world with vilest worms to dwell.
Yes, okay, very good, very good. Surly, are you saying surly or surely? Surly.
I was saying surely, it's definitely surly. Thank you.
Yes, it is. So it's bad-tempered, right?
Surly.
Right? It's a bad-tempered bell.
Yes.
He has an opinion about these bells.
Surely, it was like, oh, maybe it's the bell that will, yeah, surely makes more sense.
Now, again, we've got these very heavy, rich consonants and vowels at the beginning. No, there's all these N's and M's and NGs. Mourn for me when and then the end of the line, dead.
Yeah.
So cuts across it. Would you just rather overindulge that for a moment of just really going into the sounds of the words? Try just as an exercise. Let lots of breath go in.
No longer mourn for me when I am dead. Then you shall hear the surly, sullen bell.
Good. Okay, good. That's great. So the first line has got to, you really go into dead. When I am dead. Yeah. People who say, you're going to be sorry when I'm dead. I mean, there's a kind of use of this dead there. Then you shall hear, then it changes the surly, sullen, and then what's the word at the end of the line? Just say that word. Bell.
Bell.
Say it with a real, bell.
Bell.
Doing, doing. Yeah. And then in I think there's a lot of clues here in the actual consonants. That we've got warning, W's. Just give warning to the world. Just say that. Give
warning to the world.
And then the whole of that warning to the world that I am fled.
That I am fled.
Yes. And then the next line.
From this vile world with vilest worms to dwell.
Yes. Now, you begin to realize that he's got a certain attitude, hasn't he? She,
yeah,
he, you have a certain attitude. Mm?
Yeah.
I would rather live with worms
than in this vile world.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it'd be better company down there than what I've got here. You know? So it's not all sad cellos playing. Can you just have let's have that first quatrain, and if you slightly overdo that feeling of the consonants and the sounds of the words, and that's fine. That's the exercise.
Okay.
Start again.
No longer mourn for me when I am dead. Then you shall hear the surly sullen bell give warning to the world that I am fled from this vile world with vilest worms to dwell.
Yes, great, well done. So, you don't think much of the world, obviously. Keep going. What's the next bit?
Nay, if you read this line...
Okay, lovely, complete. Nay, change the whole thing. Nay,
if you read this line, remember not...
And whoa, stop. If is on a strong beat. Nay, if you... Just a little, you don't have to make much of it. Nay, if... So you're speculating. You're thinking ahead. You're picturing this scene after you're dead. Some of us do that, We'd rather like to say, I wonder how they're going to, talk about me. Right. Nay, if I say, no? Go.
Nay, if you read this line, remember not the hand that writ it, for I love
right. Now
you.
we've got much. All right, good. How about there's a little. It's a little self-indulgent, do you think, possibly?
Yeah.
If you don't, remember not the hand that writ it. So the words are much lighter here.
Okay.
I don't want you to, right, to go from the if, remember, but the words are very different quality to them here. Nay, from there.
Nay, if you read this line, remember not the hand that writ it, for I love you so that I in your sweet thoughts would be forgot, if thinking on me then should make you woe.
Yeah, now don't squeeze that too much. I think it's lighter. I think you can let it, it has different weight. The words have different weight from the first quatrain, but let's move on to the third one.
Okay.
Third quatrain.
Oh, if I say you look upon this verse.
Sorry, you can have it, almost as an exercise. Would you go that the O is down in your belly? Oh, if I say, right? Because it's the third part. He's already said it. Nay, if, and then he repeats himself. Oh, if I say, right? Oh, if I say. But let your voice kind of woo around and see what happens.
Oh, if I say you look upon this verse, when I perhaps compounded am with clay, do not so much as...
Hang on, don't you think that's laying it on a little bit?
Yeah, compounded am with clay.
Yeah, go for that,
Okay.
There's such self-knowledge in so many of these sonnets, I know the kind of, this is how I'm going to, this is who I am. I will be compounded, I'll be the worms, I'll be compounded with clay. So go from the, and I think you launch into that with that third quatrain. Oh, if I say, go from the oh, if again.
Oh, if I say you look upon this verse, when I perhaps compound it down with clay.
Sorry. I'm so greedy. The perhaps is more fun. Okay. When I perhaps, don't take it for granted. Okay. The oh, if.
Oh, no.
Oh, down in your belly.
Oh, if I say you look upon this verse, when I perhaps compound it down with clay, do not so much as my poor name rehearse, but let your love e'en with my life decay, lest the wise world should look upon your mourn and mock you with me after.
Stop. Now, so the final couplet, lest, so this tells you there's three people in this sonnet. There's you, your lover, and the wise world.
The wise world.
The world is against you at this moment. You certainly don't think it's wise. It's the world's been saying he's a rotten poet, something like that.
Yeah.
Lest the wise world should look into your moan. You've been saying mourn? Moan. Right. After I am gone. Less, just the final couplet, and then we'll do the whole thing.
So you said I was saying mourn?
I think you were saying mourn.
Oh, no, okay. Moan, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Lest the wise world should look into your moan and mock you with me after I am gone.
And mock you with me. Yeah, there's a little bit more weight to that. They're saying, oh, you were living with that terrible poet.
And mock you with me after I am gone.
Yeah. Something like that. Okay, so there's a story there, and there's a person who is very recognizable, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very human. Let's do the whole sonnet, and don't try and do everything we've done. Just plunge in, see the story, feel the words, and enjoy.
Okay. No longer mourn for me when I am dead. Then you shall hear the surly, sullen bell give warning to the world that I am fled from this vile world with vilest worms to dwell. Nay, if I read this line, remember not the hand that writ it. For I love you so that I in your sweet thoughts would be forgot, if thinking on me then should make you woe. Oh, if I say you look upon this verse, when I perhaps compound it down with clay, do not so much as my poor name rehearse, but let your love e'en with my life decay, lest the wise world should look into your moan and mock you with me after I am gone.
Okay, yeah, good. I think there's a little more. There are a few as you play with this. There's a little more variation in that second quatrain. The tone changes a little bit more. Very good though. Very nice. How did it feel? Yeah, it sort of lightened.
Yeah, I did feel like I got lost in the second quatrain a little bit. And it just kind of fell into a rhythm.
Yeah, you kind of held yourself into, I have to speak this sonnet or something.
Yeah.
How did it feel? Otherwise, did you get more ingredients?
Absolutely. I mean, it was freer. I think I wasn't allowing myself to live in the sounds because I was socializing it, trying to make it small and compact, as opposed to, like you said, living in it and letting it do all of that.
Yes. Let it play on you. Let it play on you. It wants all your notes and everything you are.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great.
Fabulous. Thank you, Coletta. And finally, we have Dominic.
Hi, Dominic.
Hi.
Where are you?
Here I am. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Okay. All right. What are you doing? You're doing...
This is sonnet 94.
Ah, yes. Okay. Off you go.
They that have power to hurt and will do none, that do not do the thing they most do show, who...
All right. Now, Dominic, you're kind of... Stop. You're kind of signaling that you're thinking.
Yes. Okay.
I can see you showing me that you are thinking.
Okay.
See if you can trust that thinking is enough.
Okay.
You know, actually just think. So relax a little bit. Are you sitting in a comfortable chair?
I'm in bed. As comfy as I can be.
What? That's terrible. Get out of bed.
Okay, I'm moving.
Yes. Go and sit in a chair.
Okay.
No.
I'm standing up. That seems to be better.
Standing up. Okay, let's have you standing up. Well done. Right, so that you can really get into your breath. Now, you're talking, this is a huge sonnet, and we're probably not going to get to the very depths of it, but it's both personal and very philosophical. It's got, so we'll go for the personal story. What do you think? Is there a story behind this that you can think of?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a bunch of ways to take this sonnet, and I think that it's maybe a little bit more ironic, where it's like, I love you
No,
so
that's
much.
your interpretation. No, stop. That's your
stopping.
interpretation. I don't want, when I say the story, I don't mean your interpretation.
Great.
So you are speaking.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's your story. You have to make it your story. So you say I, and then go on. So yes, yeah.
I love you so much because you are beautiful and you have power over me. And I know that you don't love me back. And that's not your fault.
Okay.
It does hurt.
All right. Now, let's not leap to the conclusion that that the other one doesn't love it. But let's say that your loved one is showing some interest in someone else.
Okay.
Let's just leave it at that. So there's you, your loved one, and the loved one casting eyes upon another.
Someone else.
So the they is a generalized they, but it is specifically taking in that story.
Yes.
They that have, so it's a big idea. Just sigh your way through that first line.
Okay. They that have power to hurt and will do none, that do not do that which they most do show.
Whoa. You got to get the words.
The thing.
The thing. Because the thing is that you don't say what it is, but it would be making love with somebody else that do not do the thing they most do show. So it's the thing of showing and doing. That was much more like, that was real thinking, Dominic, that time, that first line. Just let's start away again, stay in this thinking part of yourself and start again.
They that have power to hurt and will do none, that do not do the thing they most do show, who, moving others, are themselves as stone, unmoved, cold, and to temptation slow. They rightly do inherit heaven's graces. And, oh, sorry.
Okay, well done. Stop. Now I can see you much more engaged in this situation.
Yeah.
Now, you get to this very Elizabethan thing, which is they rightly do inherit heaven's graces. If you don't go and if you don't follow your lust, your lustful longing, then there's a chance that you will go up the ladder, up the chain of being towards heaven. And there's a lot that is engaged in this sonnet with this chain of being, that there's heaven, there's the people who do good things, and then there's the people who do bad things down at the bottom of the ladder of the chain of being, who are under the influence of hell. So that you've got these degrees of existence that you're dealing with here. So let's go to the second quatrain. So if you do not follow your physical lustful desires, they rightly, so can you go from that?
Yeah, absolutely. They rightly do inherit heaven's graces and husband nature's riches from expense. They are the
What do you mean? Well, stop.
Yep.
What do you mean by husband nature's riches from expense?
They don't waste nature's like gifts and bounties.
It's just they don't fuck. They don't go through sexual.
They don't fuck.
Right?
Yeah.
Nature's riches is your sexual power, right? Nature's riches, husband. You need to guard them. Husband, nature's riches from expense. This thing of just getting rid of it, you know. So they rightly
do inherit heaven's graces and husband nature's riches from expense. They are the lords and owners of their faces, others but stewards of their excellence.
Now, I don't, that's good, but I mean, I kind of get the sense of it, but there's a little bit more of the Elizabethan chain of being there.
Okay.
Lord, owners, we want to be up there, but stewards are right down at the bottom of the ladder, or not right down at the bottom, but they're certainly, they're much less value, right? They rightly do inherit, one more time, they rightly?
They rightly do inherit heaven's graces and husband nature's riches from expense. They are the lords and owners of their faces, others but stewards.
Let your voice change. Let it drop. Others.
But stewards of their excellence. The summer's flower is.
Now, okay, Dominic. Here, it's such a huge change in the imagery, isn't it?
Yeah, it's enormous. Yeah.
This third quatrain. So this philosophizing that has grown out of the personal experience in the first two quatrains now comes very personal.
Yeah.
Because you are the summer.
Yes, and he is the flower.
Yeah, absolutely. So drop into it. Yes, let it make you cry if it does. The summer's flower. Yeah, go on. So let the breath come in, but let your voice go with it, down.
Yes.
Don't push your voice up. Go, the summer's flower. Let it
The summer's flower is to the summer, the summer's flower is to the summer sweet. Though to itself it only live and die. But if that flower with base infection meet, the basest...
Okay, stop. It's just hard to... Good, breathe. Leave your mouth open, Dominic, leave your mouth open, breathe. You don't have to punch the meaning.
Yeah.
Trust the feeling. Just trust the feeling and let it go through you. You don't have to explain it or punch it. from the summer's flower. Go to that emotional place and let it flow through you. Let
The
the breath go
summer's
in.
flower, yeah. The summer's
flowers.
flower is to the summer sweet, but if the summer's
Start again,
flower.
start again.
Yeah.
Start again. We're doing a little The summer's flower. Let it just flow through the line. Sigh it out. Sigh it out. Yeah.
The summer's flower is to the summer sweet, though to itself it only live and die. But if that flower with base infection meet, the basest weed outbraves his dignity. For
Okay,
sweetest
time.
thing.
No, stop.
Yeah.
Let it stop for a moment.
Okay, I like that.
Right, don't rush. Don't rush. The basest weed outbraves. That's what it looks like to your eye. You know, just do that. The last line of the third quatrain. Stop, and then let the couplet come in.
The basest weed outbraves his dignity. For sweetest things turn sourest by their deeds. Lilies that fester smell far worse than weeds.
Great. Yes. Now, if you go to the feeling place, we get it, and Shakespeare will handle it for you. Can you just say the word smell?
Smell.
Yeah. Do that last line.
Lilies that fester smell far worse than weeds.
Go back to the beginning. We'll take the whole sonnet. Trust. Yeah, well done. Keep your breath going in. Is your belly relaxed?
Yes, my belly is relaxed.
Okay, let the breath go down to your belly and really see where it goes. You don't have to get it right. Just go for that plug in to the story and the emotional content. Go.
They that have power to hurt and will do none, that do not do the thing they most do show, who, moving others, are themselves as stone, unmoved, cold, and to temptation slow. They rightly do inherit heaven's graces, and husband nature's riches from expense. They are the Lord's.
Stop.
Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, I hate shouting stop, but it's the only way to go. Are you reading it out there?
No.
It looks as if you're reading it slightly. You're sort of, you haven't quite given yourself over to what you know. You know what this is about.
Okay. I think I'm scared, to be honest, but yes.
Well, let's be scared. It's no.
Yeah.
If you break, if you weep, we'll. It's good. I mean, it's. We have to be able to work with the tears.
Yeah.
You know. But the first thing is, I am not. I know how humans are meant to be on this earth, in this cosmos. It's a cosmic image at the beginning, and then it becomes personal.
Okay.
Trust the breath, and we'll do it. I'm not going to stop you. Whatever happens, I'm not going to stop you this time. All right. Well done.
Thank you.
Relax your face. Trust your feeling.
They that have power to hurt and will do none, that do not do the thing they most do show, who moving others are themselves as stone, unmoved, cold, and to temptation slow. They rightly do inherit heaven's graces and husband nature's riches from expense. They are the lords and owners of their faces, others but stewards, to their excellence. The summer's flower is to the summer sweet, though to itself it only live and die. But if that flower with base infection meet, the basest weed outbraves his dignity.
Breathe, breathe, breathe. 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 Let the breath in. Now, big. Go. Let him have it.
For sweetest things turn sourest by their deeds. Lilies that fester smell far worse than weeds.
Well done. Okay, breathe. Let your belly go. Whoa.
Wow.
Well done, Dominic. You've got to go. That's terrific. You've got to go through the emotional tsunami, you know, and through to the other side of it.
Thank you so much for guiding me through that.
Well done, Dominic. Really good. And Kristin, what Dominic experienced, I'm feeling as someone is, I can guarantee you the millions of ways you imagined this session going, Dominic. You didn't expect yourself to be in the state you're in now.
No.
And I think that just goes to attest this wonderful thing that Kristin bases so much of her work on, which we've got to all remember as actors, is why we got into this thing in the first place, is that imagination we all had from the start. It was given into your imagination there, and the images of your imagination that took you to a place that completely surprised you and surprises us, the audience. We're never going to get ahead of actors and performers. And Kristin, I'd love you to comment on that. If the actors themselves are being surprised by what's happening to them, there's no way us as the audience can ever then get ahead of you either, you know? So Dominic, thank you for being so brave and sharing that with us. Kristin, is there anything you'd like to add on to that?
It is that thing of allowing oneself to be played by it. So the words and the situation, they play on you, the actor. They play on your emotions. It's not that you are playing the words. They play on you. They play through you, and you have to have the courage to enter into that over and over again. And because you are different from moment to moment and day to day, every time you speak it, there will be life that manifests differently through the meaning. And that's why it's so glorious having to work on these sonnets, because they will live forever, and they'll change and they'll change and they'll change every time you speak them.